Connor.
Ryan.
I'm Sean.
In this presentation, we're going to be talking about traffic patterns in New Hampshire, the current car rental usage situation in New Hampshire, major attractions, and advantages and disadvantages for the car rental industry.
So when you're thinking of how to increase car rental usage in New Hampshire, you want to think about who doesn't have a car and who needs a car, and the majority of that category are tourists. So as you can see, 6.2 million visitors visited one location in New Hampshire alone. So if you think about it, that the places to look are the majority of the attractions throughout New Hampshire. So out of all the visitors that visited New Hampshire, including the 6.2 million visitors to that one location, the ones who didn't use their own car, borrow a car, or the state and city transportation, they most likely rented, and the New Hampshire's rental car usage was 5.1%. So you think that 5.1% is split up between enterprise and the other car rental industries.
As far as traffic pattern goes in New Hampshire, high traffic in the summer months, usually June, July, or August. There's a lot to do in the summer. People have lake houses. It's a big travel months. And the less traffic is in the winter, even though skiing is pretty popular. The least popular traffic was in January and February.
All right, some of the major attractions throughout New Hampshire, you know these especially if you're a New Hampshire native. There are Polar Caves, Clark's Trading Post, Hampton Beach. The Lakes region is really popular for boating or tubing along the lakes. Appalachian Trail and the White Mountain Resort, really popular during the fall when all the leaves are starting to change. It's something that New Hampshire is really well known for. And the ice castles recently opened up too in North Conway or Lincoln.
Yeah, Lincoln.
Advantages, there's a lot of attractions in New Hampshire. It's a rural state, 147 people per square mile. It's 23rd in density, and it requires vehicular transportation.
So the obstacles for the rental car industry could be the vehicle transactions in New Hampshire are rising each year, which means that more cars are coming in to the state, which means more people or tourists have access to cars, which the rental car industry may suffer from that. Also, two very popular railways run through New Hampshire, which is the Mount Washington Cog Railway and the Conway Scenic Railroad, which means more tourists or citizens have the access to taking the train, in comparison to renting a car. Also, the New Hampshire is ranked the 24th most bicycle-friendly state, which means more people have convenience to riding a bike to either popular attractions or just around if they cars in the shop, which can definitely hurt the car rental industry also. What to think about? So each attraction brings in tourists based on the season. So if you're looking to put new car rental spots in New Hampshire, definitely look towards the attractions, the popular attractions, maybe definitely advertise during the summer months where the traffic is more tourists are coming into the state. Also utilize their advantages moving forward, which means using so since the New Hampshire has mountains, it's very spread out, definitely advertise having like long car trips with rental cars, advertising to families. And these are our references. Thank you for listening. Is there any questions?
Where did you find the million visitors to that one location?
It was on the Travel and Tourism Handbook.
Oh.
It was like the first time New Hampshire was mentioned, I think, yeah. It was our only location in the thing, so.
I think I found a different number, but I think it might have been for like visitors.
That was 2014, but I don't know if, yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I don't know, it was last year.
any other questions before we do feedback? Oh, come on, guys. Alright, well, does anyone have a question on, go back to the, let's see, we had the Conway Scenic Railway? Did you investigate what those actually are?
I know the Mount Washington Cog Railway is, Copier Key, I believe.
It's literally just a ride up the mountain.
Oh,
So-
really?
So you don't, it doesn't transport people to locations. So here's a good thing, you wanna investigate as you collect these, right? You wanna make sure you really investigate what they are, and again, this is just some initial research.
Yeah.
So as you think about the same things, anyone know what the Conic Scenic Railway Road is? No, Kyle, you shook your head, you didn't know?
No, it's like a train that goes back and forth around Conway to just see the views of.
Right, yes,
Conway.
that again is just, it's more, those are actually more attractions.
Yeah.
They're not transportation systems. So, that would be my, my only point is.
Well, if it goes around an attraction, it definitely, I feel like it still would be a, alternative to renting a car.
No, literally it goes in the mountains just so you can see how pretty the mountains are.
Yeah.
So it, in and of itself, it's an attraction, I guess is what I'm
So
saying.
it doesn't go like between
It
attractions?
doesn't
So
take
it
you
is
to
attraction?
different attractions, it's an attraction
Okay.
itself,
Okay.
yep.
Alright.
It's much like going to view the scenery, it just
Okay.
takes you around
Alright.
and you look at the beautiful mountains of Conway and so forth like that, so. Okay, any other points?
Were you guys looking at, improving or increasing business in Manchester or like the entire state of New Hampshire?
Well, obviously, southern New Hampshire is like more city and stuff like that, so it's easier to get more cars maybe to the airports and stuff like that, but I think that most of the I mean, obviously there are some attractions in southern New Hampshire, but there are a lot more that I didn't even know about up in northern part of New Hampshire, so we can easily, I don't know what we're trying to do yet exactly, but I know we can definitely get some more commerce uses up in the northern part of the state.
Let's see. What about, so when you, one point, what was the top location? You referred to a top location in the first slide?
Yeah, North Woodstock,
North Woodstock, okay.
it's up in Woodstock.
What's that?
It's in Woodstock, it's just North Woodstock, Woodstock,
Right,
yeah. That was the statistic on the travel tourism handbook.
okay. Yep,
It was the only major location in New Hampshire, like New York had a whole bunch obviously,
right,
and New Jersey was Atlantic City, so New Hampshire was North Woodstock.
right. So when you think about this information, and I'm trying to get back to how you summarized, right, what your recommendations are the key things to think about. There are these attractions and you sort of talk about they're spread out, right? So one piece of feedback for you would be to really zero in, like that was a good point, like the fact that there's only one attraction, right? So
Yeah.
it's okay to talk that, yeah, this is great, all these people go to this one place, but it's only one place.
Yeah.
Right, so in terms of,
Like maybe really advertise, cause there is a lot more attractions.
Yeah.
Just that that's like the major one.
Mhm.
But I think maybe if people know about the other attractions, maybe the rental car industry can tell them and stuff, and they can go, like rent throughout the
Mhm.
state,
Yeah.
to each attraction.
Some attractions are based on the season, so like I'm sure, obviously the ice castles are winter, the beach will be summer,
uh-huh,
and then I'm sure there's some in between, some year round, so
uh-huh,
definitely look at it based on the season.
yep, okay, alright. I have other points, but I'll
Oh.
save them. So can no, I said it, someone's gotta give feedback on what worked well and what can they improve. I'm not doing it.
I think you guys had like pretty good information that you, as far as attractions and, the different statistics you guys brought up as far as like locations, and I was like one of the most popular biking states in the country was pretty good.
Thank you.
Okay, move it on until someone else.
I think the
Positive
flow of the
feedback from-
presentation went really well.
Thank you.
Alright, areas of improvement.
We can take it.
Yeah, it's to help you improve,
Yeah.
right? It's not to pinpoint, right? And that's where peer feedback comes in, it's supportive, it's to help, right? We all have the same goal of improving our presentation and our overall content and thinking and all that. Go ahead.
I guess just go a little more in depth about what the attractions are, cause you just, like, you guys just kind of said, like, in, like, the Lakes region, I'm from New Hampshire, so I know
Yeah.
what a lot of them are, so like,
Mhm.
if you just, like, list a few things that, like, actually are not just say the Lakes region, that would help.
Good feedback. One more. How are their presentation skills overall, if it's not the content or the, pretty good?
Yeah, I didn't, like, look at cards the whole time or anything, I seem to know the information.
It's good body language.
Pretty good body language, yeah. Alright, I'll let you have the